Must watch. If a woman tells you these 5 things, leave her immediately. Stoicism. Modern Stoic. Welcome to Blessing of Stoicism, and today I'll discuss a topic which a lot of men blindside and pay less attention to. Let's get straight to the point. In the pursuit of meaningful relationships, it's crucial to stay grounded in wisdom, and not every woman is worth your time, your energy, or your respect. Too many men fall into the trap of ignoring red flags, hoping they can change a woman, or worse, prove their worth. But the truth is, some things are better left unchallenged, especially when they come in the form of words that should immediately raise alarms. Men and women communicate differently. While men are often direct, women sometimes express their intentions through subtle cues, words, attitudes, or expectations that, when ignored, lead to emotional and mental depletion. When a woman says certain things, it's a direct signal of her mindset, her expectations, and how she views you in the relationship. If you're not tuned into this, you might find yourself in a toxic situation that saps your confidence, your clarity, and ultimately your peace of mind. This isn't about negativity or resentment toward women. It's about self-awareness, self-respect, and protecting your emotional well-being. Too many men have sacrificed years of their lives, drained their energy, and lost their sense of self-worth by ignoring these early warning signs. In this video, I'm going to break down 5 specific things a woman might say that should make you turn around and walk away without looking back. These aren't just words. They are signals that indicate a mindset that could lead you down a path of regret and frustration. And, as Stoicism teaches us, the path of virtue is one of discernment and wisdom. So, if you're tired of wasting your time on women who don't appreciate you, if you're ready to start recognizing the signs before it's too late, then stay with me, because what I'm about to share could save you from months, even years of frustration. Let's get into it. 1. Other men want me. When a woman tells you, "Other men want me," it's never a casual remark. It's a test. She's not simply sharing an observation, but rather gauging your response. Does it make you uneasy? Do you begin to compete for her attention? Or do you react with jealousy? Or do you stay composed, showing that you don't chase validation from anyone, including her? A woman who truly values you won't feel the need to remind you of the attention other men give her. She's secure in her worth and doesn't manipulate or control the relationship by throwing out such statements. But when she uses this line, there are 2 possibilities at play. First, she might be seeking validation. She wants to feel desired, not just by you, but by every man around her. This type of woman thrives on attention, feeding off the constant affirmation that she's attractive and wanted. She's often never satisfied with the attention of just one person because her need for external validation far outweighs her need for genuine, emotional connection. This isn't someone who will value a steady, meaningful relationship. She craves the spotlight, and the constant reassurance of her desirability fuels her ego. Second, she could be testing you. This line is meant to provoke insecurity or jealousy, pushing you to react in a way that proves she has power over your emotions. If you fall into the trap of trying to outdo the other men or desperately prove you're the one she should choose, then she has succeeded. She knows she can manipulate you with a few well-placed words. In these moments, it's essential to remember the Stoic principle of maintaining emotional control and self-mastery. As Marcus Aurelius said, "You have power over your mind, not outside events. Realize this, and you will find strength." By not allowing her words to rattle you, you demonstrate your emotional resilience and establish that you are not someone easily swayed by external validation. You are the master of your emotions, not a puppet of anyone else's need for attention. In real life, this means that you must learn to recognize when someone is testing your boundaries and when their actions or words are meant to disrupt your peace. It's not about being cold or detached. Rather, it's about having the clarity to stay true to yourself and not allow anyone to manipulate your emotions. This is a powerful lesson in self-respect and emotional discipline, qualities that all modern Stoics strive to cultivate. 2. My ex was toxic. When a woman tells you, "My ex was toxic," your first instinct might be to feel sorry for her, maybe even step in as the good guy to treat her better. But before you rush to take that role, pause and reflect. That statement, seemingly harmless, can hide a deeper truth. While it's true that some relationships are genuinely harmful and some men are toxic, the consistent blaming of her ex without any recognition of her own actions should raise a massive red flag. Understand this. If she only points fingers and never looks inward, you're witnessing a fundamental flaw in her character. She refuses to take accountability for her past, a behavior that will almost certainly repeat itself in any future relationship. A woman who can't take responsibility for her past is showing a lack of emotional maturity, which will only lead to more dysfunction and poor decisions in the future. Consider this. If every ex she's had was a narcissist, manipulator, or abuser, then either her judgment is severely flawed or she is fabricating a victim narrative to avoid responsibility. In the former case, she's simply not capable of recognizing and choosing healthy relationships. In the latter, she's rewriting her history to preserve her self-image as the eternal victim. Neither option should inspire trust. So ask yourself, if she can never admit fault in her past relationships, what makes you think she'll do any differently with you? The moment something goes wrong between you two, you will inevitably become the next toxic man in her story. As a Stoic, you must learn to recognize these patterns and act with foresight. Don't let yourself be another casualty in her cycle of blame. A relationship founded on unbalanced blame is a recipe for failure, and it's crucial to protect yourself from that emotional toxicity. Walk away, for your peace and sanity are worth far more than trying to fix someone who refuses to fix themselves. Remember the wise words of Epictetus. It's not what happens to you, but how you react to it that matters. Take control of your life and don't let the drama of others derail your personal peace. Real men comment, "I control my own life," to remind each other. 3. I want a man who can handle me. When a woman says, "I want a man who can handle me," it may seem like an invitation for you to step up to the challenge, a playful dare to prove your strength. But don't be fooled, this isn't a compliment. What she's truly saying isn't that she wants a man who's strong or confident. She's subtly informing you that she wants someone who will tolerate her difficult and often disruptive behavior without holding her accountable. It's a warning, not a playful remark. When a woman makes this statement, she's making it clear that she plans to bring chaos and expects you to accept it without questioning or demanding change. Now, ask yourself, why should any man ever have to handle a woman? Relationships are meant to be mutual, grounded in respect, growth, and stability, not a constant trial of endurance where one party is forced to endure unnecessary drama. A man who values himself knows that he doesn't need to handle a woman. Instead, he leads with strength, wisdom, and direction, creating a harmonious space where peace and mutual respect flourish. A high-value man understands that a relationship isn't about putting up with toxic behaviors, it's about building something beautiful together. The moment a woman tells you she needs you to handle her, what she's truly signaling is that peace and stability aren't on her agenda, and this is a red flag. You deserve a partner who is willing to grow and evolve alongside you, not someone who expects you to bear the weight of their unresolved emotional turmoil. In modern life, especially when you apply Stoic principles, this kind of behavior should not be tolerated. A Stoic man doesn't allow emotional chaos to govern his life. Instead, he seeks relationships that bring balance, growth, and peace. So, if you ever hear these words, recognize the warning they bring, step back, and make a wise decision to preserve your emotional integrity. A high-value man leads, and he doesn't settle for anything less than a partnership based on mutual respect and shared values. 4. You're insecure for thinking that. There's a manipulative tactic that some women use to avoid taking responsibility for their actions or words, shaming you into silence. One of their most effective phrases in this arsenal is, You're insecure for thinking that. It's a phrase that aims to strip away your confidence and undermine your self-worth. When you express a concern, set a boundary, or simply ask a question, and her immediate response is to attack your emotional state, telling you that you're insecure for even bringing it up. Be alert. This isn't an innocent comment. It's a deliberate manipulation designed to shift the focus from the issue at hand to your perceived emotional fragility. Instead of addressing the concern, she flips the script and makes you the problem. Now, you're no longer talking about what bothered you. You're busy defending your emotional stability, trying to prove you're not insecure. This tactic doesn't just deflect the conversation. It disempowers you and lets her off the hook. The underlying message here is clear. She doesn't want to engage in a healthy, constructive conversation. She wants to avoid accountability. This is a subtle yet dangerous manipulation that could erode your confidence and self-esteem over time. Marcus Aurelius, a pillar of Stoic thought, once said, "The happiness of your life depends upon the quality of your thoughts." When someone tries to manipulate you in this way, they're attempting to control how you think and feel. Don't let them. If you allow someone to consistently make you doubt yourself, you're surrendering your power. Remember, you have the right to express concerns and set boundaries without being shamed or belittled. In today's world, where manipulation is often disguised as affection or concern, you must hold your ground. This is your life, your mind, your well-being. Take control. Never forget that your feelings are valid, and if someone constantly tries to undermine them, it's time to walk away. As the Stoic philosopher Epictetus said, wealth consists not in having great possessions, but in having few wants. The same applies to relationships. Don't want someone who treats you as a lesser. Always stand firm, protect your mental space, and remember, real love and respect are rooted in accountability, honesty, and mutual understanding. Don't settle for anything less. So, if you ever hear those words, "You're insecure for thinking that," you already know what you must do. Leave. Immediately. If you have come this far, you must have gained quite a bit of interesting knowledge, right? Now let's comment "I think and act decisively." 5. I don't need a man. The moment a woman says, "I don't need a man," pay close attention. That's not just a statement, it's a mindset, and that mindset will make any relationship with her a constant battle. This is the kind of woman who sees men as optional rather than valuable, and that's dangerous for any man who wants respect, appreciation, and partnership. In fact, a high-value man respects and seeks a woman who is self-sufficient and capable of standing on her own 2 feet. However, there's a significant distinction between a woman who is independent and one who consistently undermines the role of men in her life, promoting the idea that men are essentially unnecessary. A woman who truly respects men doesn't need to vocalize how much she doesn't need one. Her actions speak louder. When a woman repeatedly proclaims that she doesn't need a man, it often stems from a deeper need to prove something, to herself, to society, or to you. She may have been hurt before and adopted this belief as a defense mechanism, or perhaps she's been influenced by modern culture, which sometimes encourages women to diminish the value of men. Regardless of the root cause, one thing is clear. A woman who genuinely believes that men have no place in her life will never offer respect to a man, and without respect, any relationship is doomed from the start. Now, let's look at how this plays out in real life. Imagine a man begins dating a woman who proudly declares, "I don't need a man to be happy." Initially, he may brush it off as a harmless statement, but over time, he starts noticing the subtle signs. She disregards his input, frequently challenges his decisions not because she genuinely disagrees, but to prove she doesn't need him. She refuses to allow him to lead, and when he tries to take initiative, she reminds him that she doesn't need him. This dynamic eventually leaves him realizing that he's not in a partnership. He's caught in a competition with someone who has already convinced herself that men add no real value to her life. This is a game no man should play. Relationships should be built on mutual respect, shared value, and cooperation. When respect is absent, the foundation of the relationship is compromised. As Marcus Aurelius, the Stoic philosopher, wisely said, "The best revenge is to be unlike him who performed the injury." In relationships, this means that rather than engaging in a battle of wills, maintain your self-respect and clarity of purpose. If a woman doesn't see the value in you, don't fight to prove your worth. Instead, focus on nurturing relationships where your value is appreciated. Remember, you deserve respect, and a partnership where both parties work in harmony towards shared goals. 6. Real men do this. When a woman tells you, "If you don't do this, I'll find someone who will," she's not merely making a suggestion, she's laying bare her entire mindset. This statement is a manipulation tactic, a clear indication of entitlement, and a sign that she doesn't view the relationship as something based on mutual respect. Instead, she sees it as a transaction where you are expected to meet her demands, or else she'll discard you like an expendable object. Too many men misunderstand this as an opportunity to prove their worth and begin to scramble to fulfill her wishes. But let me ask you this: why would you ever want to fight to keep a woman who considers you replaceable? A high-value man, rooted in self-respect and stoic wisdom, will never allow himself to be controlled by ultimatums, because he understands that his worth isn't defined by anyone else's approval or demands. This phrase is nothing more than a test, a manipulation technique that aims to measure how much control she can assert over you. How you respond to this will set the tone for the rest of your relationship. If you react by pandering to her threats and changing your behavior to accommodate her wishes, you've just given her power. It's not a negotiation, it's a game, and you're losing. Once you show that you will adjust your actions to avoid being left, she knows she can use this tactic to get what she wants in the future. Today, it might be a small request, but tomorrow, it could be a much larger demand. This process erodes the balance in the relationship, and soon, you'll find yourself no longer leading your life, but following hers. A woman who truly respects you won't need to manipulate or issue ultimatums to get what she wants. A respectful, mature relationship thrives on communication and compromise, not coercion. Yet, when a woman plays the power game, trying to control you through threats or tests, she's demonstrating that she doesn't see you as a partner. She sees you as a pawn in her game. If you find yourself responding to these ultimatums, you're merely feeding into her narrative, and you're at risk of losing yourself in the process. This is a wake-up call for men everywhere. Stop operating from a place of scarcity. Too many men fear that if they don't comply with every demand, they will lose her and be alone forever. But the truth is, if a woman is ready to leave over something trivial, she was never truly invested in you or the relationship. A woman who values you will never make threats about leaving. She will talk things through, listen to your perspective, and make decisions based on mutual understanding. Here's the cold, hard reality. A woman who is quick to say, "I'll find someone else," is not loyal to you. She's loyal to the benefits and comfort she gets from being with you. This is not someone you can build a solid, lasting relationship with. She's already emotionally detached, considering other options, and perhaps even looking for an exit strategy. This should be a huge red flag, signaling that you should step back and reassess your situation. If you ever find yourself on the receiving end of such a statement, resist the urge to argue, plead, or compromise your core values. Instead, stay calm, look her in the eye, and say something simple like, "Go ahead." Watch how the dynamic shifts when she realizes you are no longer intimidated by her threats. The true power in relationships lies in the ability to walk away when necessary. A man who has mastered his emotions, anchored in stoic wisdom, knows that he is in control of his own fate. He understands that his self-worth is not tied to the approval or affection of another person, and that true peace comes from standing firm in his convictions, not from trying to appease someone who seeks to manipulate him. A woman who genuinely respects you will never put you in a position where you feel you have to prove your worth or be subjected to manipulation. She will recognize your value and will never play mind games with you. But a woman who feels the need to test you through ultimatums is already demonstrating that she doesn't see you as an equal partner. She sees you as someone to control. The moment you allow her to control the narrative, you've lost. The relationship, once rooted in mutual respect, has been turned into a power struggle, and you've handed over the reins. The truth is, you don't have to tolerate this kind of behavior. The second a woman starts issuing ultimatums and testing your boundaries, it's time to make a choice. Do you stand firm in your worth, or do you submit to her manipulation? Men often fall into the trap of thinking they must comply to avoid conflict, but real peace comes from knowing your value and walking away from anyone who refuses to acknowledge it. Remember, if she's willing to test you and issue threats, she's already considering replacing you. And if she's willing to replace you over something as trivial as a threat, she never truly valued you to begin with. So the next time you face an ultimatum, don't argue. Don't try to justify yourself. Simply recognize it for what it is, an attempt to control, and walk away. This is not only the Stoic approach, but it's also the ultimate power move. A man who values himself enough to walk away is a man who cannot be controlled. And that is the mark of true strength in relationships. Share your thoughts on this in the comments below. How would you respond if faced with such an ultimatum? Thanks for watching, my friend. I hope you found the insights helpful. Remember, being aware of the signs and staying true to yourself is key in any relationship. If a woman says these things, it's time to take a step back and reassess. Don't let manipulation or games disrupt your peace and personal growth. Now, I want to hear from you. Have you ever dealt with a woman who pulled these tricks? Drop a comment below. I'll be checking them out and responding. Let's have a real discussion. If you're looking to take a deeper dive into these concepts, join my Podia community. Link in the description. It's packed with powerful insights to help you master your masculinity in today's dating world. Stay strong, stay focused, and protect your power. Thanks again for tuning in, and I'll see you in the next one.